Am I the a-hole for not hugging my grandma as she was dying? This happened in March, April 2020, when the pandemic first started. We didn't know what it was or how it spread, there was no vaccine, and there were a bunch of cases in town where I lived. I still feel extremely guilty about it, and I need to get it off my chest and see if my guilt is reasonable. My grandma was on home hospice for cancer and had care worker coming regularly. She chose assisted suicide because she was in pain, but also because she didn't want to risk exposing her family to COVID from care workers visiting and not put a burden on local healthcare so they could focus on COVID and other emergencies. She was a badass and a kind and smart person. I miss her terribly. She pretty much raised me from when I was very young because my mom was neglectful. I lived a few hours' drive from her but still visited to care for her, bring her meals, and stayed over after surgeries when my mom who moved in with her needed extra help or a break. My mom also doesn't really cook, so I made sure to meal prep and bring food. When the pandemic started, my wife and I quarantined at home and were extremely careful. I used to work in a microbiology lab with dangerous pathogens, so we were taking a lot of precautions until we knew more about COVID, including washing groceries, masking, etc. My wife also has cancer, and we are both immunocompromised with multiple at-risk conditions. When my grandma decided to die, we visited with her before it happened, and she wanted a hug before she ended things. I didn't want to risk catching COVID and giving it to myself and my wife, so I declined hugging her, even though I know she really wanted that and it would make her passing easier. I also did not stay for the actual event because I couldn't bring myself to. I understood her reasons for doing it, but I didn't want her to, and I have a pretty close to photographic memory, and I didn't want to see her dying in vivid detail replayed in my brain again and again for the rest of my life. My mom and the hospice worker were there with her, so she wasn't alone, but I couldn't do it. I also feel guilty I never moved in with her to care for her many years prior because I was afraid to leave an abusive situation and move away from my job and friends. She was just a great person and I didn't spend enough time with her. I had mostly gone no contact with my family after getting kicked out for liking girls, and she didn't know about it because my mom said I moved out as a kid because I was on drugs and joined a cult, and that's why I wasn't at family gatherings anymore. She's literally the reason I survived childhood, because my mom refused to feed me or give me water and would beat me. She let me stay with her a lot and would yell at my mom for being a bad parent. She's always protected and loved me unconditionally, and I let her down.